I know anytime I post something about tanning, I'm inevitably going to end up with comments like this or worse. Let me talk real quick about why I tan personally before I dive into this huge year-long, hundred thousands of participant study that might change your mind. So for me, when I was 19 or so, I was comatose. Headache, no matter how much I slept, I wasn't energized at all. And so we went to my doctors. They scanned my thyroid. They scanned my levels. Everything came back fine. They thought I might have had mono, didn't have mono. And then they checked my vitamin D level, which was at a 1. My doctor at the time said like 16 would be the bare minimum he wanted people to be at, and that's like terrible. And he would like to see me around 40 nmol. And we tried supplements. We tried injections. I actually tried an IV treatment. Nothing worked. So we actually discovered that I cannot absorb vitamin D from diet or supplements, things like that. He told me to go tanning. Now, if you know me from high school, I was a white Gothic baby who plagued away the sun like it was going to kill me. He actually told me that that was terrible, and my risks of because I'm avoiding sun is going to be far worse than like any kind of intermittent damage that sun exposure would do. So he actually taught me how to expose myself properly, start low, go up slow, go every other day. Once I have color, you only need to go once or twice a week. And within 2 weeks, my vitamin D levels were not just like where he wanted to be. They were sufficient. They were up to like 70. And I personally can't go too much above like 75, 80. I start feeling sick. But when I don't have vitamin D, my hair starts falling out. I start feeling so tired all the time. And I need it. So sun is life for me, literally. But I live out in the middle of snow country where we really only have less than a month of optimal sun exposure for your body to create vitamin D. So how am I supposed to get sun without it? Beautiful tanning bed. If you scroll through my playlist of The More You Know, I talk about a bunch of different studies that actually show that moderate, controlled, non-burning exposure to sun actually is healthy for you. And now there's a study that actually shows that tanning has more benefits through controlled exposure than just sun exposure does. So the study that I'm referring to is called Higher Ultraviolet Light Exposure is Associated with Lower Mortality, an analysis of data from the UK Biobank cohort study. It was published September of 2024. This is new, which is so inspiring because that means people are studying. So I'm just going to say the highlights. Evidence suggests benefits of UV exposure for several health outcomes. Associations between behavioral and geographic UV exposures and mortality were assessed. Higher UV exposures were associated with lower all-cause cardiovascular and cancer mortality. Higher behavioral UV exposure was also associated with lower non-cardiovascular disease and non-cancer mortality. So public health message on sunlight needs to be reconsidered to, instead of sun avoidance, go into that smart exposure. There's also another study cited in this one that references the non-association between sun exposure and melanoma, which is huge because we need to understand what actually causes it if we're going to treat and prevent it. But sun exposure actually decreases your chances of getting cancer as well as your survival rates if you have cancer. I wouldn't be in this industry if I thought what I was doing was harming people. Now, a lot of the tanners that come to me who are used to other places might not like me at first because I don't let people go full time. Heck, I don't even let people go half time their first visit unless they're like a skin type 4 or 5. I go off the skin types, I go off the recommendations from the beds, and I go at a rate that is going to build that protection over the layer of skin that burns and provides an awesome glow. There are studies that show that every other day exposure is actually better for you to build vitamin D, tans you better, and eliminates that risk of wrinkles. So the biggest thing is not overdoing it, but to get the health benefits, you have to know that balance, and nobody teaches that balance. So that's my lot in life. And if you don't agree with me, that is fine. Everybody is allowed to have their own opinions, but we wouldn't have been put on an earth that the thing that requires the world to go around and us to be healthy, like if we were poisoned against it, the sun wouldn't exist. Like we wouldn't be here if we weren't made to be in the sun. Just got to be smart about it. Never burn, never turn pink. Go every other day. Go low, go slow.